When British politics seemed to have descended into an endless quagmire of stale rhetoric and tired institutions, Nigel Farage catapulted himself back into the fray with a move that will either be remembered as a masterstroke or a spectacular failure. On a bitter February afternoon, while the nation distracted itself with mindless scrolling, Farage dropped a bombshell. Reform UK was preparing to hold the biggest political rally the UK had seen in years, a spectacle at Birmingham's Utilita Arena, a venue that hosts the likes of Beyoncé and Ed Sheeran. This was not some quiet political event. This was an all-out attempt to dominate the news cycle, to force his agenda into the public consciousness, and to remind Britain that Farage is a force to be reckoned with. And, as the buzz spread across Twitter, it became glaringly obvious. Farage's game plan is not about policy or traditional political tactics. He isn't concerned with the seat count, or the percentages of votes in any given constituency. He doesn't care about the dry numbers that are supposed to define a party's success. No, his target is much simpler. Farage's objective is power in the form of momentum, sheer public energy, and chaos, the kind that disrupts everything else in its wake. The Tories are already squirming, and if Farage's gamble pays off, they could be staring into the abyss of irrelevance. Make no mistake, Farage's success is not predicated on following a traditional path. He isn't waiting for slow-burn change through years of tedious policy development. Farage understands that British politics is increasingly becoming about spectacle, image, and capturing the collective imagination. So, when Reform UK dropped its slick promotional video for the rally, he wasn't just selling a political event. He was selling a moment in time, a chance to ignite the raw frustrations of a disenfranchised electorate. He's trying to catalyze a revolution, a rebellion, and that can only happen by making people feel something. And, right now, there's an awful lot to feel. The Tory party is in freefall, disoriented after the catastrophic loss of 2024. The echoes of the Conservative Party's last breath have yet to fade, and in its absence, Reform UK is making strides. Under the leadership of Farage, Reform is now nipping at the heels of the Tories, even surpassing them in certain polls. One poll in particular had Reform UK at 24%, a staggering leap when you consider how recently it was a fringe player in the political system. The Tories, meanwhile, trail at a paltry 23%, a humiliating drop for a once powerful party that should be coasting on the back of an electoral loss that handed Labour a resounding victory. If those numbers continue, Farage will only gain strength. This is no longer a game about positioning within the old two-party system. Farage's rallying cry isn't just about Brexit, though that still packs an emotional punch for many. It's about a more profound sense of dissatisfaction, about a rejection of the status quo, and an urge to burn the old establishment to the ground. It's about offering an alternative to the entrenched, failing political elite that has left the average person behind. The Tories, once the stalwarts of British conservatism, have become nothing more than a broken shell of their former selves, and Farage is looking to capitalize on that wreckage. His plan is simple. Take what's left of the right-wing vote and replace the Conservatives completely. He knows that the road to this kind of transformation doesn't follow the same trajectory as traditional parties. Farage isn't waiting around for Westminster's slow grind. He's taking aim at local councils and mayoral elections. If Reform UK can pick off just a handful of key victories in places like Tees Valley or Durham, the narrative will shift entirely. The Tories will no longer be able to claim dominance over the right-wing vote. The headlines will scream of their downfall. Already, members of the Conservative Party are abandoning ship, and Reform UK is benefiting. This isn't about winning over a few select votes. It's about flipping the entire political narrative on its head. For all of Farage's faults, one thing is undeniable. He knows how to work the media. The spectacle of a rally in Birmingham will be nothing short of a publicity juggernaut. With his slick branding, masterful social media presence, and a rumored celebrity endorsement, Farage is poised to create a political event unlike anything Britain has seen in years. The fact that he's even attempting it shows an acute awareness of the times. While the Tories remain mired in their own internal conflicts, Reform is growing its grassroots movement, not just in Parliament but at the local level, where power often starts. There's a brutal political reality that the Tories are too blinded by their own mismanagement to grasp. If they keep losing ground to Reform, they are not just risking an election loss, they are risking decades of political irrelevance. Farage understands that he's playing the long game. Whether or not Reform can keep the momentum rolling remains to be seen. but the fact that they've even come this far is a testament to the effectiveness of Farage's strategy. For the Tories, the nightmare is clear. If Reform UK pulls ahead as the dominant opposition to Labour, the political landscape will shift dramatically. Imagine a 2029 scenario where Reform UK has become the new force on the right, and Farage stands as the undisputed kingmaker in a fractured, broken Conservative party. If that happens, Farage won't just have turned British politics upside down, he will have crushed the Conservative Party under the weight of its own failures. As Birmingham's Utilita Arena fills to capacity on March 28, the question will be, is this the beginning of a political revolution, or simply the death rattle of a party that could not adapt? The answer lies not in the speeches, but in the energy of the crowd. Farage is betting everything on the crowd's reaction, and it could very well be the spark that lights the fuse. But if he fails to deliver, if the arena is half empty, the consequences will be swift and brutal. Only time will tell if Farage's gamble will reshape British politics or become another cautionary tale in the annals of failed political comebacks.